media, and I see it showing up in our chat. People are going, what's going to happen to journalism? What's going to happen to the media? You see the cable networks to which you referred earlier, MSNBC, for example, something of an endangered species. They're being cleaved off from by the Comcast people from NBC News. So you'll have the talking heads for a while, probably, an opinion kind of thing. But you're not going to have any NBC News backed up journalism, and Comcast wants nothing to do with that. And I understand why. They have a lot to risk in this Trump administration. They have a huge company, and they don't need to stick their necks out for MSNBC, which is not, it's just a small sliver of what that organization, right, that is to say Comcast, is all about. What is the future of media and journalism as it relates to a Trump administration?
Well, there's going to be a full-out assault on journalism. Donald has said many times, going well back before he ran for president the first time in 2000, quote, "You shouldn't be allowed to write things about me unless I approve," close quote. That's as dictatorial as it can be. It is totally contrary to American Constitution and American tradition. They're going to try to find a court case to get to the Supreme Court to undo the 1964 Times v. Sullivan decision. That was where people seeking to get voting rights for Black people took out a full-page ad in the New York Times about the abusive conduct of Alabama law enforcement. There were some minor factual errors in the ad. No, the substance of the ad was right on, but there were some little errors. And the court held that if you're going to have robust public debate as anticipated by our Constitution, you can't go forward with the plaintiff's argument that you have to be perfect in what you say and indisputable. So they adopted a standard that if you're a public figure, you and I are public figures. Somebody, I have people have written on the internet that I'm a child molester. I'm a public figure. I would have to prove actual malice by them and that I suffered harm, et cetera, et cetera. That's fine. That's in my view, that's fine. If you're Joe Schmo down the street who's never been in the newspaper except maybe the announcement of their birth or wedding and doesn't want to be, you're held to a higher standard. Public officials should be open to full-blown scrutiny, not you can only write what I approve of. But they're going to go after Times v. Sullivan. That will not stop investigative reporting. It will just make it vastly more difficult and costly and cautious. If MSNBC gets bought up by somebody for the purpose of shutting it down, and people do that, somebody can create a new channel. There's an audience, and a profitable audience, for something like MSNBC or Fox or much more center of the road CNN.
Sure, I mean,
and we've seen on the right.
To be clear, David, it could be easily taken over by like a Musk, let's say. I mean, it's probably a chump change to him. I mean, it's not. It's way less than Twitter.
Right, or it could be taken over by someone who views the world more like George Soros, who's a great champion of democracy and trying to get Americans to understand their own democracy, as well as people in Eastern Europe now understand democracy. They're going to go after individual journalists. I may be one of them. They're going to be terrific harassment of journalists. And I've been writing in forums that I'm in for various journalists about, you need to not shrink away. You need to be brave. You do the right thing. And most people, it's like what's going to happen at the Justice Department. They're going to pick a couple of people out to fire for inappropriate reasons. And a couple of people will stand up to them. But a lot of people have mortgages and kids in college and a mother-in-law to support. Sure. And they're going to knuckle under to some degree because of the practicalities of life.
I think that's such a great comment that applies to everybody in Washington and the entire the instruments that were supposed to keep Trump or those in a Trump administration in line. I mean, they're ultimately cowed by the fact that you want to live, you want to just have a life.
Yeah. You don't want to end up like the Hollywood 10, who couldn't get any work. Dalton Trumbo
Thank you.
wrote a bunch of some of the greatest movies, some of the greatest movie scripts of all time under the names of other people because he was blacklisted for what? His political views, which I find offensive, but that's fine. He's entitled to them. They don't believe that. They believe you must toe the line, and millions of MAGAs share that view.
Hi, it's Mark, and I thought that was great. Hit the notification bell. You'll know whenever there's a new video being dropped, and please subscribe to our channel to help us save the universe.